participate in this lovely sport. We here now.
If you on that hit squad, then hit hard. Bogart and take charge. If you got accuracy to beat the QB, then let me see you throw it deep.
Gather around, school brothers and sisters. This is Under the Lights, brought to you by Minnesota Sports Talk, Purple and Gold for Days. And today, we got a surprise guest, Raps in the house. Let's go. What's going on?
Hey, what's
Raps,
up? What's up, man? Yeah, man. Appreciate y'all having me. Man. I think I've only been on here once, right? Yeah,
once or twice.
Yeah. I know you've been on the school experience a couple times too, probably.
Right, man.
Yeah, you smash or pass.
Oh yeah. That
is my second favorite show next to Greg Coleman.
Yeah, I remember that.
We got McAndrews in the house. What's up, man? We got Sodak Kid. Let's go. Gary, man. What's up? I got Mary Fist, Chicken Soup for the Soul. Let's go. My worthless opinion, whose opinion is never worthless and oftentimes right on the money. Roger Lindquist, go. Let's go. Oh my gosh, Bob Sweet. Now, is Bob Sweet the guy that's like, I want to mock?
Yes.
All right, I want to mock Bob Sweet. I was wondering if I was getting that wrong. JJ, what's up, nephew?
Nephew in
let's
the building.
Go. Oh my gosh, look at you guys showing up today. Ryan Peterson, let's go.
Up,
all right. Oh, hey, Papa Gary and Grandma Mary. JJ says hi. All right.
Shout out to Mary. Everybody keep your prayers and thoughts going. Still kind of running around. Again, I don't have too many details to share. I'm just going to say that still got some work to do. So keep those prayers for Mary going so that she gets all the love she can get. And I'll just leave it at that.
So historically, how many games has it been since the 49ers have beat us in Minnesota? Are we going on? We extended to 5, or is it 6 games now?
It's more than that. It's since 1992.
No, it's been since 1992. Yeah.
Right.
Well, I mean, we don't
That's
play
a long
them every
time.
year.
That's a long
So
time.
I think it's like 7. I think it's 7, somewhere in there.
That's a long time, though. Dang.
So it's starting to sound like things like that matter, doesn't it? Rap, what were you thinking going into this game? What were you thinking?
Well, I was thinking we were going to lose. I'm going to keep it real with you. But you know what? I thought about remember last year we had the same situation with the Cardinals. Remember the Cardinals haven't beat us in US Bank Stadium in the past 10 games. So we actually have a longer streak with the Cardinals than we do at US Bank Stadium than we do with the 49ers, believe it or not. So I played that. You know, I actually used that when I predicted the game against the Cardinals last season. So, yeah, man, I thought we were going to lose, but I couldn't be happier, man. I'm drinking. And shout out to Dave, man. Dave was calling this. Hey, Dave said it. He said it. We got to give the man his flowers, bro. He was keeping the fans together. I was the deadbeat downer. I'm going to keep it real because, look, I like damn evidence. And guess what? Your boy got the evidence last night, man. I'm here. That's all I needed, man, was some goddamn evidence, man.
Hey, Justin, you went from benching Kirk to calling a victory, I think, on One Bar and Lupicus in the chat. What made you go from that to calling a victory, and where are you now with the Vikings?
Well, again, what I've always said is you have to be able to, in the moment, make adjustments if necessary. I mean, Rep and I went on Sunday night talking about our next 3 opponents, which you could really extend out to the next 5 up until the bye week. And we were thinking, okay, the easy part of our schedule has been stated a few times. And one of the things we reiterated was, yeah, we're probably going to lose to San Francisco. And one of the things I would always say is, if they did find a way to beat San Francisco, that changes things, because then that shows us something. that shows us that you can beat a team not named Chicago and Carolina. Okay. So at the end of it, yeah, last night on the post game and during my live today at lunch, yeah, I said the players of the game are Addison, Bynum, and definitely Kirk Cousins. So, yeah, if they had lost last night, I would have stood by. Hey, you know what? It might be time to go in a different direction. But by winning that game against that team, despite the fact that they didn't have their best wide receiver, because neither did we, yeah, that changes things.
I like Ayuk.
Yeah,
better than as a wide
Ayuk's
receiver.
a better wide receiver.
Well, okay, their best weapon, I should say. That's,
yeah.
that's
Well, I mean,
that's a very good point.
Yeah, I mean, run CMC is a pretty good weapon too. But
I don't think it would have.
you call it
a little
the victory too, though, right? You change your score prediction at the one bar and Lepicus in the chat. Or did I read that wrong?
I don't even. You talking about during their pregame? Or you talking about last Wednesday?
I was on. I put my score prediction at 24-20 because I changed it at 5:00 that day after that guy saw the injury report. I swear I saw you change your score prediction to.
No, I was on. I wasn't.
Never
on
mind. I didn't give you. I'm not giving you any props.
I'd love
for
to
that.
take credit for it, but no.
You went from benching selfish Kirk to make sure he takes a trade all the way to hey, we're going. Let's go.
Yeah, once again.
So no credit.
No.
You all credit eliminated.
No, I don't take credit for something I don't deserve credit for. Shout out to Evil in the building for the
my worthless opinion said he sacrificed a lager before I die for that game, and it fucking worked. So
hey, there you go.
Let's go. I'm bringing the F-bombs today, guys. These are happy ones. These are happy ones.
Yeah, I'm happy. Man. I'm happy, man. We dominated.
No, absolutely. And frankly, it really shouldn't have been a 5-point game. We left a lot of meat on the bone, a lot of money on the table.
Me and Rap were talking about that pregame. People were, throw this to you, Justin. People were saying this is Kirk Cousins' best game ever, but I told Rap maybe it's his best game playing with a lead ever. Which would make sense because KOC didn't go into a shell. We actually abandoned the run after we got the lead. His throw he missed through to Addison in the back of the end zone. Madison probably needs to stop in that zone. So I put that one on him. Agreed. And then he didn't lead Addison enough on that touchdown, but Addison redeemed himself and ripped that ball away and scored 65 yards. So I don't consider it his best game ever, but I'm giving KOC props for probably his best game since the Packer game week 1. What do you think about what KOC did during this game?
I think he had a pretty good game for the most part. I think we still need to figure out.
It's a low bar. I mean, it's a low bar on the play calling. So
I still think we need to figure out red zone and goal to go in particular. You get a pass interference on Addison, so you get the ball on the 1-yard line, and you go backwards, end up settling for a field goal. So, and I think we're the only team left that hasn't scored a rushing touchdown. Okay.
Yeah, there's a couple teams with 1 and 2, but we have 0.
So, to me, it's like you can't waste opportunities like that. Now, we ended up winning the game. There was another pass in the end zone to Addison that was just out of his reach. Well, a little bit more.
That's the one I talked about. I just said that one.
Okay, I thought you were talking about
I don't know.
Either way,
put it right on him, but he let him.
So, but other than that, play calling was good. And the reason I will say that this is one of his better games is because it's the most complete game he has played, or the complete game the team has played. We can talk about the 2019 20-0 comeback against Denver where they went 4 for 4 on 4 possessions, 4 touchdowns. To me, that's a great second half, but you didn't do anything the first half. The Green Bay Packers game that ended up in a tie in 2018, you had 22 points in the fourth quarter, but you had 7 going into the fourth quarter, which means, but this game, he was great throughout the game. So to me,
you can also argue we only had 6 points the second half, though.
That's true, but
2 field goals.
Yeah, that's also very true. But even without the points scored, their drives where they were picking up first downs and milking the clock and keeping San Francisco's offense off the field and wearing down San Francisco's defense, to me, that's
via the pass too.
That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. It wasn't the run game. That's for dang sure. So that's why I will give last night's game a touch more. I mean, yes, the comebacks are cool and everything, and you're right. They only did score 6 points in the second half, but to me, they still made plays. They still, like I said, converted for first downs, had long sustaining drives, didn't give the 49ers very many opportunities to come back in that game. So, but it's subjective, and you can go either way with it. So
Now, Rap, we didn't give up a sack in that game, even though it looked like Kirk was sacked on that play when he threw it out to Powell. And we got the flag on that thanks to KOC running out, running over to the refs saying, watch hold on this play, watch the hold on this play. They called it. We completed it, and Kirk avoided the sack. But what do you think? Are you a believer in this offensive line? We've been saying all year that it's improved and it's getting better. And then it started to become a kind of elite, kind of a dominant group. We were talking about earlier, we're good run blocking and pass blocking, but we're still not running the ball well. Can you talk about that?
Yeah, the offensive line's playing really, really, really good, man. Better than we've seen in a long time. The reason why we aren't running the ball well because we got Alexander Madison as the starting running back, and he just lacks vision. So I mean, I'm just keeping it real. Like the offensive line is doing what they're supposed to be doing. He's just not doing his part. So that's why it seems like our running game is bad. Because when you put the other two guys in, it looks perfectly fine. I mean, they're breaking off 6, 7, 8 yards, like it's nothing, you know what I mean? Because they have vision. They understand where the gaps are. But I mean, this offensive line, man, is playing really good. I'm excited, man. Like Dalton Reisner, I didn't hear about him last night, so that's a good thing. Usually when you don't hear about your offensive line, that's a good thing. But what I do want to highlight, man, is Christian Darrisaw was straight punishing Nick Bosa all night.
Made him his
I
bitch.
mean, putting this man in the
one
dirt,
pressure.
bro. Like, you got to go back and actually rewatch the game and focus on how Christian Darrisaw was just literally manhandling this dude, bro. Like, straight up, just like, get up out of here. Straight eliminated him. You know what I mean? Eliminated
Speaking
him.
of Darrisaw, here's a comment. Judd saying Vikings want to keep Hunter rather than trading him. Judd wanted to trade Christian Darrisaw.
No, he did not. He did not. He just said, "What
Judd
do you
a damn
think?"
fool if he think like
he did
that.
not. That's again you misconstruing and changing.
I'm
if
sorry.
You actually listen to the episode.
I'm watching Mackie.
You can't talk about. You can't talk about Purple Daily.
I'm watching Mackie telling Judd you wanted to trade Christian Darrisaw. Mackie and Judd did not say he didn't. So I'm just going off of what I heard today.
Yeah.
I'm going off of what I heard today and what I heard back then.
If Judd said that, Judd lost his damn mind, man. You know what I'm saying? Judd done lost his damn marbles, man.
We are way behind on some shout outs, so let's get those two. We got Dayon in the building. What's going on? Thank you kindly for joining. We got a house call from the doctor. What is going on? Young Cringe, we had a comment up, but let's get you shouted out as well. We got Grandpa Dave from Minnesota, Vikings First and Skull. Thank you so kindly, as always. We saw Mateo's comment, but let's get a shout to Mateo there. We got Frozen North in the building. What's going on? We also got Drop Shop Jake in the house, along with Grandizer. And, of course, our guy Yogi. Thank you so kindly, as everybody. Now, a couple of quick comments that I've highlighted, then we'll get Mello in here because I see him in the back room.
Bring Mello ass in, man. I ain't get to be on the pillow. I ain't get to
be
on Mello.
What's up, man?
My guy.
You on the panel with R.A. Peasy tonight, man.
Yeah, man.
Last shout out for now.
Shout
out to Too Evil to Hope for the $5 super chat. Thank you so kindly. We do appreciate all y'all support and for your loyalty as well. Real quick, Mello, I want to get this comment up here. We need to win by 2 or 3 scores against the Packers. You for dang Skippy drop shot. There is no excuse to not mollywop those guys. They are absolutely terrible. But anyway, Mello, what's going on, brother? How you doing?
What is up and what does it do? It's a blessing, man. I appreciate you, Justin. Purple for Days, Rap, of course, the Purple Podcast, Pocket Podcast, bro. And also, of course, Dave, man, the steady and old faithful, the consistent guy, Dave, for having me on today. And go Skull, bro. Did the Book of Mello predict this? If y'all watched the show, if y'all watched the segment, did I not predict that this had to be between the methodical regular quarterbacks, Brock Purdy and Kurt Daniel? Because obviously we see the defense amazing. Like we understood the blitz, right? I'm like blown away, of course, that our offensive line stuck through the way they stuck through. So, shout outs to y'all and shout outs to the Viking Nation, man.
Yeah,
Hey,
absolutely.
Justin, there's a reason why I did that because I don't want to cover rap.
All right. I was putting us underneath our logos, but all right.
See?
Sorry.
Definitely don't cover
There we go.
rap. You know what I'm saying? That's
Nah,
you could
rap.
cover me,
That's
man. You
franchise
could
player, bro.
All right,
Man, you
we'll
can
put rap
cover
back.
me,
We'll put
man.
rap back.
Shit, cover
We'll put
me.
rap back. He's sitting higher than me.
I am sitting
This is
higher.
good.
You could still
Hey,
see my
keep your
face,
comments
though.
to one line, guys, so we don't
Yeah,
cover
quit
rap.
with all these dang paragraphs. You know what I'm saying? Like, nah.
Okay.
Real quick, I want to
being
say this
bold.
to Ryan and Rogers' comments here. Don't ever do the damn push tush again. We do not have
Hey,
Jalen
it's
Hurts
work
or their
midfield.
offensive line. Oh
It's
my
work
god.
midfield, but hey, it was obvious down at the goal line. They timed it. They saw that high school team do that jump thing. They said, you know what? Let's fucking do that.
Yeah.
And it worked.
Yeah.
I wasn't
And-
mad at the first time, but when you do it
doing
three
it
times,
twice in a
man,
row.
Yes,
If you're not
no,
gonna get it the
just-
first time,
No. And how did Cousins? That is the play of the game for me for Kirk, because some of the legitimate criticism is his pocket awareness level, and his pocket awareness level last night was on a whole nother level than what it had been. The pocket completely collapsed around him, and what did he do? He ducked down, sidestepped, shuffle stepped, and then got the ball. I was like, okay.
Melo liking that shit, but Melo loving that.
Where the hell is that?
Yeah,
place for Alvin?
Yeah,
But
bro, because he in tune with JJ. JJ, listen, I'm talking about JJ making Kurt better. I'm talking about off the field, because we understood Kurt's problem. You're not relatable in tune with the culture. Period. You know what I'm saying? We know you're a good guy, you're a great guy, but you need somebody around you that's going to give you some flavor, because Kurt, what you missing is that it factor. We know that you got the work ethic, like you can have the it factor, but you missing that. And who got the it factor? JJ. Even off the field, he came over here and swagged him out with the chain.
Yeah.
That means more to Kurt. And later, and not even Kurt, just you see I know I'm a top 3 wide receiver, but Kurt don't know if he a top 10 or 5. And I don't want to be on his wood, by saying it and everybody in the media and try to be jocking my quarterback. But at the same time, I'm going to show that respect. So I think that's the it factor he's missing, even on the off the field. Jay Addy is a real stud,
So JJ brought the Creed CDs into the locker room.
Pretty much, bro. Pretty much, bro. You know what I'm saying? Like, bro, he at least brought the swagger. He brought the swagger to Kurt. I'm just talking about with the chains and whatnot, because of your wide receiver that you trust. It's a trust thing. It's not just because everybody lit like that. It's like, you're the franchise guy, JJ. You're the swag. The organization goes how you go. You're validating me as your quarterback, because your success is depicted on that. And even off the field, without JJ, we did this. Right? Defense, be flow. What a way to blitz it up.
Yeah. Real quick too, man. Melo got a good point right here, right with that. And you know what? When I look deeper into that situation, is, I know this sounds crazy, but Justin Jefferson's injury could be a blessing in disguise. Now, that's not saying that we don't want him back on the dang field as soon as possible. But what I am saying is, JJ becoming that leader now, because like Melo said, what he did yesterday, running on camera, throwing that chain around Kirk's neck on national TV and stuff, that's what I like. That's what I look, because those little things, like Melo mentioned, that will boost Kirk's confidence like nobody would know, bro. You just don't understand how those little things just go over there and support your guy, man. Because usually we would just all walk in the locker room. Everybody would just be normal, just walk in the locker, not saying that. So JJ's taking in this opportunity that he's injured to sit back and really look at his team and say, you know what, we're missing something. And he's able to, okay, I see what we're missing, man. Let me bring that while I'm hurt, while I'm not padded up. Because when he's padded up, I think JJ's laser focused and he's locked in. And maybe that's why he lacks that type of attitude during the season when he's playing, because he's so laser focused on his game, where he ignores the other things. But now that he's sitting back, it's good. It's giving him an opportunity to really see what's going on, how people are moving around. And he's like, you know what? Let me bring some flavor to it, man. Maybe this can happen. So it's a benefit, man. It's a blessing in disguise, believe it or not, man.
Yeah, it's exuding some leadership, which, to your point, when he's playing, he's exuding leadership a different way,
right?
With his play on the field. The whole Allen Iverson thing about practice. He's like, yeah, I know I'm supposed to lead by example and I'm supposed to do this, but if I'm hurt, I'm hurt. And at the end of that, they're just like, one of the questions was, well, don't you think you're making your teammates better by you practicing? And Alan's like, how the hell I make my teammates better? But the point I'm making here with JJ is he's leading in other ways while he is not able to be on the field.
I mean, listen, we talking about practice, not a game. We talking about practice.
So anyway, just to wrap that up.
To further go on that point, one of the things like Cam Bynum said after the game, and honestly, it was Jordan Hicks said this last week after the Packers game, or after the Bears game, is that, you know what, we were having fun last year. We were pre-planning celebrations on defense. So Cam Bynum says we set up these celebrations in preparation for making these plays. And I think that goes a lot of ways that they weren't doing at the beginning of the year. And they said before the Bears game, they thought, let's have fun. Jordan Hicks said that after the post game about how they had planned some celebrations and stuff. And then we showed it in the 49er game. And then one of the things I think Kirk and the other teammates put together was like, hey, we like this music, let's play it once. And now it's become a theme. And it came from the Texas Rangers. And they started playing it, and now it's become like a thing for us. And I think it's great that they're acting more through positive reinforcement and in putting things together and just positive thinking that we're going to plan a celebration when we do this. We're going to be prepared for when we do this, and they freaking go out and do it. And I think going on that Bears game, they changed their mindset, and it's showing on the field.
One of y'all pull up Drop Shot Jake's comment right there, man.
Hold on real quick before we do that. Shout out McAndrews for the $5 super chat. We appreciate you.
Man.
You know,
pull up that because I wanted to touch on that too.
All right, now which one are you talking about here?
Last one. His last one that he posted about, I believe, yup. Like that's another point, that he can just take the words out of my mouth too. It's benefiting a lot of people, believe it or not, man. That JJ's not
drop shot. Right shout out.
Well, yeah, I mean, that's a good point. The reason why it makes sense is because we're seeing what other players can do, and we just beat a juggernaut without him. So I think we can know what we'll be like without JJ. We were either going to be somewhere between the Bears and somewhere between the 49ers, right? So we got to see a Powell step up. He didn't really step up the week before, but he stepped up this week. When Addison went down, he got in the field. TJ Hawkinson probably had his best game, almost complete game, no drops. So a lot of guys stepped up, and again, defense is just stepping up. It's a night and day. It's a night and day compared to the.
Can I ask you a question?
Always.
Can I like on a serious note, and I just want to hear, I guess, left to right, right? So left going up. Rap first, of course, Dave, and then Justin. Did you guys going into the season, like on a before you saw what you saw, before you got to see training camps, did you have this feel that you have right now as far as what we've seen from the Minnesota Vikings versus the 49ers between defense? Because that's what our expectations. It's one thing, we never get what we expect in life, only what we inspect, right? You expect this going to happen. You never get it, really. You only get what you inspect. So us as fans, us as podcasters, us as in the sports realm, in the sportscasters realm, did you have this feeling that, hey, this is what I saw Monday, this is what I actually believed I would have seen against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers in the first season, in the beginning of the season? And if so, or if not, then why did you have any type of fears going into the season?
Right. So to answer your question, I definitely thought like what we saw last night, that's what I expected to see week in and week out. Like I figured, coming off of 13 wins, like, and Dave and Daya tell you, Mello, last year, you want to talk about purple suit Kool-Aid sipping. Man, listen, man, my nickname was Purple Kool-Aid. You hear me? Like, listen, we were knocking people off, and I was lit. And there were people in the community talking me off the high horse, saying, man, listen, it's a fluke. Don't get too excited. I'm like, yo, you're not going to tell me that my team just won 6-7 games in a row. You're not taking me off this high horse, bro. It's just not happening, right? But so coming off of that, even though we lost like we did in the playoffs, going into the offseason, I was like, you know what? This team's about to take another step, man. Like we saw just the sample size last season. We bringing in Brian Flores. Bro, you ain't going to tell me we're not about to be one of the best teams in the NFL. And week 1 happened. And you know what? Week 1, we were all in the building. We had our skull fest. Shout out to everybody that came out there. But
Absolutely.
no, it was one of those games where you walked away from it kind of sad, but it was one of those things where it's like, it's week 1. You feel me? Like things happen on week 1, man. I mean, that's just the NFL. Week 1 is probably the most surprising week of the whole NFL because you just don't know. You're going into it. Everybody's kind of going into the situation not knowing what to expect. And I was like, all right, it's all good. You feel me? But last night, man, you know, that's what I expected. That's what I expect for the remainder of the season now. You know, now that they set that standard of last night, when we go into next week and play because I don't want to get negative on here because I'm positive now. I'm sipping the Kool-Aid. But we know how the Vikings operate, though, man. We know this as fans. We've been fans long enough. Usually, we'll win a game like this, a statement game, and then we'll play the shitty ass Packers next Sunday, and we will just. You know what I mean, man.
You know who's going to mess it up for us if we do? My bad. I'm going to let you digress real quick.
No, you good. I'm done, man.
Greg Joseph is going. We saw what Greg is out here missing 50. Come on, McGreg. You too professional for this, bro. Yeah. We keep on giving you these opportunities, bro. Yeah. And if this was the game on the line, thank God for B-Flow in that defense. Thank God for Daniel Cousins. And thank God for Cam Akers, bro. I think it lit a fire under Madison. I think having Cam Akers there, having a different, I saw how his feet was moving. I was like, oh, yeah. I like that. You got that shift. You got that feel. You bring that shoulder. Matty goes straight in like a straight bullet.
He lacks vision.
You know, and
he
lacks vision and patience, right?
Mm-hmm.
Letting the hope. Dalvin would sit there, dance, boom. You know what I'm saying? That, boom. And then he would take off. But Dave, can you answer that question? Did you have?
Sure. I'm not going to pull any punches here because I was more than verbal about my schedule prediction of 12-5, and I had us beating the 49ers preseason.
You still
I had us
good.
beating the 49ers, and I said the league will figure out any quarterback. And right now, Brock Purdy had 112 yards last week, and he threw 2 picks against us this week. He had his moments. I think he's a good quarterback. But I said that the league figures out quarterbacks. Now I did pick that because I thought they wouldn't have known what the situation was, and I didn't know how Purdy was going to be. He had some crazy ass surgery that'll be done for the rest of time. It's amazing how he was able to come back from that surgery so fast. But I did have us beating them. I honestly, right now, our defense is better than I expected. I said we might be a top 10 scoring defense, but we'd be in the 20s on yardage. Right now, we're middle of the road both. And I did say that we were going to cause a lot of turnovers. Now, we didn't start out that way, but we are there right now. So this defense is better than I expected. And that offensively, I didn't expect us to lose JJ. So I'm not as excited right now. Because we don't have JJ. That is a big hole. But our offensive line is way better than I expected. Way better than I expected. And that is kind of, those two things right now are overcoming the loss of JJ, because Kirk is having more time. He is able to look at more reads. He is able to dish, like he said, at point guard. I don't know. He threw to like 9 people yesterday. So
hey, listen, my bad, Dave. Go ahead, please.
No, go ahead. No, I'm just saying that, this is what I expected the team to be, but I'm not overly enthusiastic because we currently don't have JJ. I need us to win the next 2 games, get JJ back.
Come on, Dave. Now I'm on your train, Dave. Now you're talking down. Don't do that shit. I'm on your side now, man. I'm on your side now, Dave. I think we're gonna win the next 6. The hell you?
I'm saying I want us to win the next 2 games and bring JJ back for 5 and 4, and we're.
I think Dave just don't like to agree with RAP, man. You know what I mean? Like, I just think you don't like what I like.
Hey, RAP, I did my first MVP. Kirk Cousins MVP statement.
Let's go.
And I'm gonna my point on that because we were losing. Kirk Cousins has a statement game. we have an easier schedule ahead of us. That is the kind of makings in the stats he has right now. First in touchdowns, second in yards. He has a statement game. He can go on a run with this record. That is an MVP type of runway if we decide to
I ain't
let
gonna
him
stroke the boy like
put on the
that.
gas.
I ain't gonna lie.
Whoa,
We ain't
whoa.
gonna do that tonight.
Well,
We
I
ain't
was
gonna stroke the
agreeing,
boy
and
like
then
that.
I thought about it. I was like, whoa.
Rab did
Like,
4 MVP videos. I did 0
Yeah,
last year. I finally
but
did
you
one.
won't give it to
As a
him.
question, I think that's on my title of my video is question mark MVP. That it's you would be in the talks.
It's the
It's
politics,
politics, but also first in
they're not gonna
touchdown,
get Kurt.
second in yards,
I
and you
agree.
just had a statement game and you go on a run, there would be
I
MVP
agree.
talks.
He's to me. Listen, and I'm gonna because Justin has to comment because I want to hear from Justin at the beginning about the same question. But I wanted to say first, I totally agree. It's just the fact that if Justin Herbert is not outplaying Kirk Cousins, and do I think he did last year? I don't think he really super outplayed Kirk Cousins. I think he had one super fire game that put him a touchdown to ahead. But I mean, Justin Herbert, to me, when I bet on these games to underdog. Shout out to DraftKings, underdog fantasy, all the betting apps. Right. And so I'm sitting there like I'm looking at Herbert across the board. I'm betting on these quarterbacks, and every single time my girl is too. We're sitting there like Saudi. I'm like, bro, every time I bet on Kurt, he gives me my number. He gives me my money line. Maybe the team doesn't. He gives me my 250. He gives me my 2 touchdowns. And all I can say is he's money in my bank. All I can say is he's money in my bank. And for that consistency, I'm thinking about Justin Herbert, fail. Joe Burrow, fail. I'm really like, I'm not drinking the Kool-Aid on the narrative. I'm like the guy that has no narrative is still top 10. You feel me?
Well,
and he just
you lose your
something.
quarterback, you lose your best receiver, and then you go on and do that, and then you got that runway ahead of you.
Thank you, Dave.
That isn't just an added flavor to it that wasn't there last year. He always had Justin. Justin was going for 1,800 yards.
And Peyton Manning type esque feel. I'm not saying that, Kurt. I'm not going to drink that much. I'm saying
I'm about to say, man, Mello, don't do that.
What are they known? What are they known for? They're known for when their main receivers, Harrison or somebody else, is out. They make no name. Julius Edelman's of the world's people that were in the back. Come on, Powell, Addison, TJ Hawkinson, bro. He couldn't catch 2 passes. We would have won 2 more games as KJ Osborne and TJ catch the ball, right? No turnovers, and guess what happened? So my thing is, to be completely honest, I'm going to digress. Is bro, we got to start speaking of facts, bro. Hey, JJ's out. I don't want to hear the narrative about JJ made Kurt on the field also because he was in Washington doing this with
49-50.
I don't know.
But we also have to realize too, though, real quick, is that
man,
let's
pipe
it down now. It's one game, bro. It's one game. You know what I'm saying? It's one game. I get it. You know, I'm hyped too. I get it. But it's one game. You know what I'm saying? Let's let it happen a little more, and then I'll jump on train with you. But I get your point, though. You know, I mean, I do get your point. He showed out last night, and I want to appreciate that, and I want to embrace that as a Vikings fan. You know what I mean? And that's my thing with Kirk. And then I'll let Day go because I know Day over there biting his tongue. He ready to spit. But like that's my thing. As long as the Vikings are doing good, Kirk's doing good with it, and playing like that, like Dave said, I got 4 Kirk MVP videos, man. I know people might think I hate the guy's guts, but I'm gonna just tell you, I just call it. Yeah, there's a lot. There's more times that I don't like him than I do. But tonight and from last night until he proves me different again, I like him. You know what I mean? And that's my goddamn quarterback right now. So that's just what it is. But I do want to still draft a quarterback in the top. I'm gonna just throw that out there too.
Though. For sure.
Let me get some shouts. We got Vikings Gaming in the building. What's going on? We got Dave Thibodeau in the building. What's going on? NFL Jim. We got Lemmy in the building. We got GG Sports. We got my guy T-Bass. I'm not sold on the Vikings yet. Let's see him win a couple more games and some games by more than 10. One game doesn't make a season unless it's Super Bowl. And that's pretty much what Rap was saying at the end. And I think we all pretty much feel the same way. I mean, yes, it is better to have that game than to not have it. Okay. But we all, and again, it's not just him. We started off earlier by saying, hey, is this Kevin O'Connell's best game calling game, for example? So there's a lot of things that came together last night that hadn't been as much as we would have liked it to throughout the season. Shout out to Tony in the building. What's going on? Akers and Chandler have the vision and moves that Madison lacks. Well, there's something to be said about that. I'm going to circle back just so that, I forgot. Nano Joe, what's going on? Good to see you. And he was reiterating that Judd never said that about Darisaw. He was saying other teams are calling about the Vikings, and would you entertain it? And I'll just leave it at that. Having said all that, I don't even remember.
I was watching the same video you guys were watching.
Yeah, there was about 3 of them, but I digress. What was the actual question, Mello? Because it was about 15 minutes ago, so I honestly don't remember.
You know how I rant, man. My bad.
No, I know all 4 of us.
We all ran. Hey, that was a good question. Good.
Do you feel now like you did before the season?
Thank you, Dave.
Yeah. I mean, at the end of the day, I had them at 3-4 at this point. Obviously, the wins and losses of how they happened didn't correlate with what happened in reality. I had them beating the Chargers. I had them beating the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, and then had them losing to San Francisco. And I actually threw the Bears as a loss because I'm thinking the Soldier Field thing, and there's always one game that we lose that we really shouldn't. But at the end of the day, yeah, 3-4 is where I had them. Now, how do I feel about them? They're such a weird team at times because, again, how do you lose at home? And I know Rap has said, well, week 1 things happen. Okay. And the Chargers game was a 50-50 game. They're, pretty well even with us. And, it came down to 1 possession. I mean, all 7 games have come down to 1 possession, but nobody's shocked they lost to Philly or Kansas City. And yeah, okay, we got this game against the 49ers, and the defense has been ascending, up until yesterday. We hadn't won a game unless the defense had scored a touchdown. So I would like us to kick the habit of having a turnover on our first or second possession, because we've done that 4 out of the 7 games. So that's one thing we can improve on. But as far as where I saw this team, yeah, I mean, it's close to what I saw, just for different reasons, obviously. But at the end of the day, you take them where you can get them. And now, as I said earlier, you have something to hang your hat on by actually beating a good team. And like we said earlier, you really should have beat them by more than 5 points. It shouldn't have come down to that last possession. If you can execute better in the red zone, if you cannot have a kicker miss a damn extra point and a 50-yard field goal. I mean, 50 is not like what it was back in the 80s. Like back in the 80s, a 50-yard field goal is like what a 62-yarder is now. So by and large, for different reasons, are they about where I thought they would be? As of this moment, yes. Up until this moment last night, probably not. But that's the thing about this league. You can have 2 or 3 clunkers against teams you shouldn't have clunkers with, or barely escape with a victory over a team you should have mollywopped. But all it takes is 1 victory over a very, very good team to kind of say, okay, well, that kind of makes up a little bit for these other things that we had not been doing so well. So as Dave has said, the runway is right in front of them, and they've got 5 to 6 really winnable games in front of them. Does that mean they're going to win all 5 to 6? Probably not, because it's the Vikings. But do they have the capability? Absolutely, they have the capability to.
Yeah, for sure. For sure. I say we win them, man. I'm with Dave, man. I say we win them, man.
What's up? We
With
win
Dave
all of
tonight,
them, bro.
man.
We
We
about
win
to-
'em, man.
You see how Detroit lost? Y'all see how
win 'em.
Detroit lost?
And we don't
That
even
was-
got to
I
see
wanna address
Detroit.
that.
And we don't even
That
gotta
was
see
also one of
Detroit.
the points I made in one of my videos,
You're right.
that we have
You're right.
not been beaten bad. Like, the Cowboys
score
have been
game,
beaten
sir.
bad.
1-score games.
The Lions have been beaten bad. There's other teams have been beaten bad, and we haven't. So
Bro, we could be undefeated.
even
I looked
Miami's
at
been
all
beaten
our
bad.
losses.
Yeah. Go ahead, Mallow.
I
What were you
looked
going
at
to say?
all our losses. My apologies. I looked at all our losses because last year, even some of our 1-score games felt a little miracle. It felt a little, you know what I'm saying? Like, hey, I'm excited. I'm on the juice, but it's a little sketchy. These losses that we're having, we're sitting there like, bro, they all happen on some freak fumble plays that are young boys, or some players that we brought off a practice squad or something crazy, special teams, and TJ just having a freak game, and we're losing to what? The Eagles. They were in the Super Bowl. We lose to the Kansas City Chiefs. They were in the Super Bowl. 1 score. Some of these games are without any running game, any running presence. We have offensive line issues. I literally say if we just play the normal Kirk Cousins, normal beef flow, normal KOC type, and nobody turns the ball over, we're undefeated this season.
Yeah, but
because in the Kool-Aid, I'm literally saying, I'm looking at first 4 games saying if freak plays don't happen, not good defensive plays, just freak plays don't happen, those are wins automatically.
Just to add to your point, Mello, it was the fumbles that we lost fumbles. You know what I'm saying? It wasn't as that we fumbled more than other teams, as we just lost all of them, it seemed. So there was an added factor to that. Well, like, we didn't jump on the ball. Like, sometimes you'll jump on the ball and save the play. It was always going to the other team. So it was like an added factor of that's a little bit of bad luck.
And I know, Day, you probably feel what I'm about to say, but you know me. I mean, Mello. Mello and Dave. I gotta disagree. I get it. If was a fifth, if was a fifth, because my thing is this: we've all played sports, and when you got a team, it just showed that at the beginning of the season, up until last night, really, man. You know what I mean? And I'll even say the Bears game. You know what I mean? Even though the way we won wasn't the way I would have wanted to beat a team like the Bears. But what I will say is this, you know, when you're fumbling and giving the ball up like you are, even last night doing that throw where we got it ripped out our hands, that is a lack of leadership, and it's contagious. And once it catches like a wildfire, it catches, and we saw it. It started going downhill. Every single game, we're just giving the damn ball away. That is because if you look at good football teams, they don't do that. Right? You go look at the top team. They don't do that, man. They don't make those mistakes. It's not just, now I could see if it just happened one game and it's like, damn, the Eagles let's just say the Eagles game.
Qualify that because the 49ers just had 3 turnovers.
But what I'm saying is, yeah, we manhandled them. We played good. But what I'm saying is, if you look at their 6 games they played, go look at how many times they're losing the ball and fumbling the ball on type of plays. Like, I mean, they just don't make those mistakes. They play good defense, fundamentally sound football, you know, and when you got a team that's undisciplined, that's what happens, man. You know, this team, to me, I felt like this team lacked leadership. And that's why I like what Mello said about Justin Jefferson when he was saying about how he went up to Kirk and stuff. Like, to me, that's why I was thinking this 2 days ago. I was like, bro, this might be a blessing in disguise. And it goes back to that because, you know, it's just, it feels right, man. It's putting KOC in a position. It's putting Kirk in a position. You know, it's putting everybody in a position to have to step up because mentally they know, hey, our best player isn't with us, man. We got to hold it down. So let's go handle business. And they're doing it. So I like it.
I don't know about giving post-credit leadership to a guy putting a chain on a guy during an interview as pre-leadership skills. I mean, we just won. He's happy. He puts a chain on him. That's Kirko changed from last year. But I don't know if we're going to get pre-leadership skills to a guy that came in after the victory and put a chain on a guy. I mean, that might be a little bit of an exaggeration. I do like him. What I would give him credit for is the way he's been talking to people on the sidelines, the way they were talking about watching the interviews about what he's still like in the room, the receiver room. So yeah, I'm going to put more weight on that than putting the chain on after the game because
you got to remember the swag last year of Za'Darius and Chris.
And I hope he does get the grill. He said I'm going to get that grill.
But you got to remember the swag of, you know, Za'Darius Smith and them putting the chains and starting the whole Kirko chain movement, like that built confidence last year. You could see it. You know what I mean? Even Kirk showed us how much he enjoyed it and it built his confidence. I mean, he's doing this shit. You know what I mean? Something that you just don't see, man. He was feeling himself. So again, it might not seem like a big deal, but like it is
a big deal. I thought it was a big deal last year. It was a team coming together. It was definitely a team coming together thing. Right. Just like
having fun, man. You know?
Post interception celebrations, it's them having fun again, and I think they were missing it.
Yeah. All I'm going to say about the turnovers and a couple plays here and there, every damn team in the NFL could say that. Every team in the NFL.
We're dead last.
Doesn't matter.
Last. We're the only team that could say that.
No,
until this week, and now we're 31st.
Every team can say, "Oh, we're 4-3, but 3 plays here, we could be undefeated." There's so many. You can say that about every team. Now, I guess to the point of what is sustainable and what isn't, and what is likely to continue and what isn't. Yeah, for one game, they have shown that they've gotten a lot better. Again, TJ Hawkinson, we haven't even talked about him. He had a great game yesterday. Didn't have the drops. He's got a lot of a couple of key first downs where it was like 3rd and 12 and Kirk hits him in stride moving forward where he had to, get 5 more yards. Where, okay, it's one thing when you're hitting any type of pass catcher 5 yards down the field and then they have to turn up and run. The fact that he hits them in stride and allows his forward momentum to keep going allows a shorter pass behind the sticks to actually have a chance of converting for a first down there. So I guess to kind of wrap this all up, and then we can move on to our next theme here, since we're still on theme number 1 of 4. The sky's the limit for this team. They've gotten some things figured out, and to Rap's point, yes, maybe missing Justin Jefferson for 4 games could be something that could spark this team to figure out some other things. For KOC to figure out how to call a game without saying, okay, I got to do the Justin ratio. For Kirk Cousins to start trusting other of his pass catchers, to allow Jordan Addison to show out, to say, hey, I'm here too. And, it's going to be interesting when Justin Jefferson gets back. If you can bottle up all of those things and then add your superstar back to it. Yes, there have been other times where a superstar would be out for a while, and then when the superstar got back, it totally threw off the chemistry. So that's going to be up to KOC and Kirkus to make sure that does not happen. Real quick, I'm sorry, Young Cringe, is 13-4 unrealistic? Yes. I'd love to see it, but yes, the answer to that question is yes. Shout out to JDT in the building. What's going on? Shout out to Gil in the building. I know this comment was from a while ago, but yeah, let's not get carried away with only one game, but we've already talked about that. We got Sarah in the building. What's going on, Sarah? Great point. Feels nice to not have to play from behind all the time. And of course, we got the Skull Bro. Skull Mafia is in the building. What's going on, Skull? Thanks again, as always, for joining us. Anything? Well, real quick, shout out to Warlord. What's going on, Warlord? Good to see you as well. Thank you kindly for joining us. Anything else on this first topic?
Yeah, just to point out something here, like it's only one game. We haven't fixed. We had 1 turnover against KC, right? Again, it was the first drive of the game. We had 1 turnover against the Bears, tip ball. 1 turnover, guy gets ball ripped out of his hands. So we've had 3 turnovers last 3 games. We've caused more turnovers than and they honestly should have had more. Kansas City threw some fucking balls. So our defense has taken the ball away. We stopped giving the ball up. We are still 31st in the league, but not anymore as far as a turnover ratio. We're -5 now. Before that stretch, we were -9. So if we were a bad team then, turning the ball over, are we now a good team? You know what I'm saying? And as far as Justin Jefferson, he had 28 yards against Kansas City. So we've seen us deliver the ball to other receivers. Historically, our quarterback has dispersed the ball quite a bit. He would have 7, 8, 9 receivers out there. So I think that has not been a problem. So when he does come back, I don't foresee that being an issue of like, hey, will that hurt the chemistry? I think this, like, Rap says, it will be a positive because we'll find guys to step up. Like Powell stepping up was a big deal. Some guy was like wanting to trade KJ to put Powell in a spot, right? So yeah, I think you can be a bad team turning the ball over, but once you stop doing it, you can be a good team now. So that was probably my only point. But studs was the second thing we want to talk about. We probably already talked about studs, but let's 1 or 2 studs each. Justin, who's your studs?
Well, right now the first stud is Kofi for being in the building. Shout out to Kofi.
Hey, so what up, Kirk haters?
Yeah. Well, I said it at the beginning. Yeah, exactly.
Hi, Kofi.
Yeah. The stars of the game are Addison, Bynum, and Cousins for me, and an honorable mention goes to TJ. But to your point, real quick about the Kansas City game, about some effort. Again, Cam Bynum just slightly mistimes his jump on that 3rd and 18.
Yeah, that's why I said the fucking ball.
Yeah. So again, but you know what?
He said he mistimed this one. And he ended up getting it. He saw, I did it again, but I caught it.
Yeah, what I was going to say is, sometimes you learn from plays like that. So, in one instance, you didn't make it happen, and in the next instance, you do. So there you go. Again, I would just say those guys would be my studs. But Also, I mean, the entire defense played well. I mean, when you only giving up 17 points, that's
Can you
that's all
really
that
say
needs to
that
be
about Dean Lowry? He did get a fumble recovery. So
I
Yes,
seen him
I
chase
did.
a motherfucker
I
down
did say
too.
that. I
He
did
chased
say
the
that earlier. I
motherfucker
said
down
we
on one play.
Dean
That's
Lowry
good.
does actually exist.
I mean, he's
Anyway.
still garbage.
I'm watching on a little freaking phone, so I
Yeah,
can't
he's
see
still.
everything.
I mean, he's still a wasted space, but I mean, he did
Yeah,
something
most
last
Mello,
night.
what you got? I saw you, man. What you got, Mello?
A stud.
Yeah, we're
Yeah.
not talking about duds. We didn't have any duds this
All
game,
right.
except for
Man, really?
Joseph,
No.
but
You know what? I'm just gonna be real. I hate to be this guy. I'm not gonna lie, America. I hate to be this guy. I'm a pre-stand, bro. You know who I'm giving it to. Kurt freaking Daniel Cousins. It's a contract year for my dude, bro. Like he was paid 28 million. Everybody else said Daniel Jones got 40 million. You feel me? Like Daniel Jones not doing what we just saw with this main receiver out. He's not doing it. If he, bro, Brock Purdy can't do it with IU. Come on, bro. With skill wise, San Francisco has better players regardless. So what are we talking about? It came down to great. The staff, I think the KLC staff, KLC and B Flow and Kirk Cousins duel. Let's run it. That's my studs.
our old line coach needs a raise.
Yeah, I'm gonna give
Crazy, maybe?
my offensive stud, man. Because I know a lot of us, we got a lot. You know, they're pretty obvious. But my offensive stud is is Christian Darrisaw. All right, I'm gonna give it to Christian Darrisaw. Christian Darrisaw, like I said at the beginning of the show, completely eliminated Nick Bosa. If you go back and rewatch that game, look how many times Nick Bosa was laid on his face, man. I'm telling you, man. I think
like
people,
a little dude out there.
I think people ignored it because it was just happening so fast. But Christian Darrisaw, man, I mean, shout out to Realistic Randy, man. He said when Christian Darrisaw talks about his contract, he should put the tape in from last night and just walk out the room. You know what I'm saying? Like, hey, for real. And just say, you let me know where you want to start. Like, for real, bro. Like, this man eliminated one of the best, that one defensive player of the year last year. You know, he did that. I mean, just straight put him in the dirt, man. So that's my stud right there on offense. And then defense, I know obviously we know Cameron Bynum, man, but you know, I'm a mess around, man. I'm gonna give it to damn
Tony Pagel. What's up, man?
I'm gonna give it to Jaquaylin Roy, man. I'm gonna give it to Jaquaylin Roy.
yeah, he has some good plays. That's a good point.
I know it's under the radar, and no, he didn't wow anybody, but he showed some flashes being a rookie, being that, hey, we might have something with that guy, man. Jaquaylin Roy, man, go back and watch. Like, these are players that might have got buried yesterday when you're watching because of the excitement of the team, but go back and rewatch.
That's who I'm going to be looking at, because I was really hyped about Tonga and them getting an opportunity without Davenport in there.
Yeah, man. So those are my two guys, man. Offense and defense, man. I know Mello got to run in a little while, man. So, man, how much longer you got, Mello? Because I got to run too. I actually got to run too, man. I was going to cut it off.
I got about 7 minutes.
Yeah, well, me too. I'm gonna run off an hour too. So.
All right, let's go to trade.
Well, obviously, Cam Bynum. I'm gonna stay away from Cam Bynum and Addison.
Yeah.
But hey, Dalton Reisner is winning over this team.
Yeah.
He's right next to Darrisaw. Nobody got by him either. It's pretty nice.
That's a fact.
And then I guess on defense, let's see who else besides Bynum. Gosh, I don't know. Well, you know, a shout out to 80 sacks. Daniil Hunter, man, got a game ball, 80 sacks. I think it put to. I think it. I did a survey before the 49er game, extend or trade, and it was well over 70%, I believe, 72 maybe, to extend. I think this fan base wants to see him in purple a lot more. We basically showed Kwesi go into the trade deadline buy-in, which is the next topic. Anywhere we got Mel for 7 minutes. Rab, drop off anytime, man. But hey, well, Rab, is there a guy out there, either free agent or trade wise? Like, who do you think? Do we need to add to the team? I got my thoughts, but I'll let you guys go first.
My biggest addition would be to go after Patrick Surtain, man.
Yeah, I've said
Broncos.
that. Yep.
Know what I'm saying? Like, bro, if you can now. Now he
Yes,
might
sir.
cost you. He might cost you something. Like, I mean, this isn't going to be one of those things where you're going to get him on pennies on the dollar. But I'm gonna tell you, man, this dude is a generational talent. He's in a situation right now where he does not want to be in Denver. You feel me? Like their team is not good, so he's a prime example of Denver maybe trying to get off some of this money because they paid Russell Wilson so much. You know,
Mm-hmm.
he's one of those pieces where, hey, although he's good, man, sometimes you got to cut your ties. And I think the Broncos would be willing to do business for the right price, man. And bringing him and adding him to this team right now, you're talking about, you want to talk about solidifying a spot in the playoffs like right now, today. If we were to bring a guy like Patrick Surtain in, like my confidence level would shoot through the roof because he locks down one side of the field. And Byron Murphy's starting to get into his groove now. It's taking him a little longer, you know what I mean? But he's starting to understand it now. I think he's quiet.
And we still got
quietly
Hitman
doing it. Yep. So I mean, our secondary would just be crazy if we were to add a player like Patrick Surtain. So that's my main guy that I say we should do. Because now, like Dave, and shout out to Dave, we're not selling anymore. Now we're buyers. You feel me? After a game like last night, you went from sellers to buyers, man. You know what I mean? So, hey, get Patrick on the team.
I think cornerback is a big issue right now.
Because I don't have faith in Evans. Evans is, I mean, he has a play here.
He's been okay,
he's not a starting cornerback.
I'm like, I shout out to Flores for starting to put in Booth and give more time, light a fire under these guys. So it's like, hey, let's see what they got. Let's see what let's see what Blackman, let's see what Booth got.
Yeah. Go ahead, Mello. Who you got, Mello?
I like that, you know, Surtain. I like to entertain that particular pick, but since you already went there, I would dissect the Arizona Cardinals. I would go from right there and go to Arizona Cardinals, and I don't know necessarily who, because you already made the most obvious pick, Rap. You know what I'm saying? Not probably even obvious. That is the most. That's Super Bowl contention. If you wanted to get serious about that, you're talking about the Eagles of the world. You're talking about the Bengals of the world. You're even talking about, you know, the KC of the worlds. They always have some type of corner or some type of safety that shuts down. Harrison Smith is too, you know, getting older, but they need a corner. But to actually, you know, go to add to what Rap said and not to take away from, I would believe just entertaining the Arizona Cardinals. They look like they're a franchise that's in the turmoil. We can get pennies on the dollar. We can pick and choose. We can get those little type of boost parlay type picks and try to pick those from the Arizona Cardinals. I mean, we might even get Kyler Murray. I don't know for what. I don't necessarily know. Maybe he's ready to renegotiate his contract since his leg is not well. You know.
So hold on. Did you just say we might can get Kyler Murray? So you willing to get Kyler Murray and bring him and get rid of Kirk for Kyler?
Yes.
Wow. Okay, you're a Kyler fan. I'm a Kyler fan. No, it's crazy because I'm a Kyler fan too. You know, people don't like Kyler, but I like Kyler.
What?
Yeah, he just completely lost me there.
He's Sam Bradford with
you just broke Dave's heart, Mello.
Like, no, I mean, you completely lost me on Kyler Murray.
I'm saying what I get for Kurt, what I get for Kyler. How old is he? Rap maybe 20.
Yeah, I think he's like
go look at his contract.
Maybe
go look
25.
At his
okay, 25. Well, we have to renegotiate that. But in NFL, no contract is safe unless it's guaranteed money, sir. So, like,
I'm with you.
After that, we can renegotiate this whole situation. And we're talking about, okay, listen, we love Kurt. I love Kurt, but Kyler Murray is a whole organization, bro. He's a changer. This is not like, oh, we got to stand in a prototypical. We can now have that option. We can now open up JJ. It's not so much pressure for the wide receivers to kind of stick and move. I'm willing to entertain that, but let's pick apart Arizona. Let's steal Kyler from him, and let's steal maybe James Conner. Let's get James Conner.
Let's go. I like the Kyler take. Man. I'm not the huge fan. Like, I'm not like a super fan of Kyler, but I do believe he is a better quarterback than Kirk
2024, 51 million cap hit, 45 and 28, 25, 55
and once again,
and
Dave has no clue how the salary
43 and
27. You got to take the bonuses out of that. That's including his signing bonuses, and that stays with the Cardinals.
Oh, so the cap hit stays with the Cardinals?
The signing bonus portions of it stay with the Cardinals. Yes.
All right, sorry. How about
Surtain is definitely
average
the pick,
cash
though.
value 35,
That's
35,
lit.
36, 36.
That's lit. Ooh. Hey man, shut up. Minnesota need to hire Rap, bro, for some consultations, bro. Hey, that pick was
hey,
crazy.
look, I ain't gonna lie. I'll be done. And you know, shout out to Dave
We
too.
stealing from David and Day.
Yeah, no,
we went from we
was on
needed
today.
a young quarterback to build to go be able to afford to build a team around him.
To Kyler Murray.
Let's go get Kyler Murray.
I'm with Melo on that though. I'm with Melo. I'm not against.
I rather prefer Kyler
against
Murray than bringing in Caleb. I'm not gonna lie. The reason why, because I'm not sold on Caleb. I'm not sold on any college quarterback. I've never in my life. I'm a Buckeye, bro. I can't be sold on college quarterbacks. We suck. Like, CJ Stroud is our gift to God, and he's not even that great. So, like, I'm not so sold on college quarterbacks. Brock Purdy is actually. Excuse me.
I mean, it's just year one on some of these guys, so yeah. It could get better.
So, I mean, Penix. What I'm saying is, I see
the chat stumping
the probability.
Us. The chat is stumping us right now about our college team. They stumping us about our college.
It's well deserved.
Because of Monday. We shouldn't have said that. We should have waited. We should have waited
till we lost.
Yeah,
we should have waited till we lost. Or something.
This should have been last week's conversation or 2 weeks ago.
Kirk Cousins has his best game,
and then you try. I mean, honestly, wow. I mean, for the record, I if I had a gun to my head and I had to choose either signing Kirk Cousins to a 3-year extension or trying to pluck Kyler Murray, it's close. I would probably take Murray simply because he's younger and he's got the mobility, but I wouldn't feel good about it. But for the record,
that bitch can throw too, though, man.
For the record, here's what if you traded for Kyler Murray, here's what the numbers would be. It'd be 37 next year. It would be 32 in 25. And
that's what Kurt want.
And it would be 39 in 26. And it would be 34 in 2027. So from a money standpoint, yes, if you look at his current cap hits and what it's going to cost the Cardinals to keep him, yes, it's up in the 45s and 50s. But the idea of the Cardinals, by the way, trading Kyler Murray, they would eat so much dead money. They'd eat like $70 million in dead money.
Yeah, it would bury him.
Yeah. It would just be. They'd be like the New Orleans Saints. Real quick, as I'm way behind. Vaughn in the building. Shout out Vaughn.
I'm about to get out of here though. Real quick,
shout out
man.
in the zone.
So,
all right,
I'm gonna head out too, man. Hey, appreciate y'all having me on. I'm gonna watch you and Dave finish the show, Dave. Man, this was a great show, man. Love the vibes. Off a win, man. It's always better off a win. You feel me? So
absolutely.
Hey, shout out to y'all fellas, man. Appreciate Mello, man. Got to finally be on the show with my boy, man. So appreciate tapping in with you, sharing the space, man. You know what I'm saying? But I'll holler at y'all, man.
All right, Rap. See ya.
All right, Brody.
See you, Mello.
I'm out of here, man. I appreciate y'all. Thank you so much, Dave.
Absolutely.
I appreciate you, man. And Justin, y'all have the best show out. Except for the One Bar and Lump is a good show. Y'all are tied.
Oh, okay. All right.
There we go. Make sure y'all subscribe to Minnesota
finally went on the One Bar and Lump show.
Yeah, I was about to say he made his debut last night. So there you go.
Made my debut.
What? Oh,
yeah, he was on the
post
game.
It's on one of my videos on my channel. Go check it out.
I'm there. I'm watching right now.
It's like a minute.
Make sure y'all subscribe. Make sure y'all watch that right now. That got to be lit. Oh, I'm watching it right now, yo. I'm out.
Nice. Yeah. All right, let's get caught up on these, and then we can talk about the Packers coming up here. Give me just a second. Let's switch this up over here. All righty. Okay, so a couple of quick points, Lemmy. Reisner making a difference. Yes. And again, Dave from First and Skull put me on to Patrick Surtain last week, and I said, I don't know. It kind of depends on how this game goes, because if we're going to be sellers, I don't know about buys. But to a couple of points in here, yeah, you'd have to give up a second, maybe a first for that. So
yeah, I'm really worried about giving up.
Yeah,
I want a quarterback too for the future, and we're not going to do it by trading away first and second round picks.
Right.
We might be able to get a second, and then
if it was a second and a fourth, I'd do it. But I ain't touching my first. I ain't touching my first. No.
There's nobody I want to give a first round pick for, really.
A whole lot of hell no's in here.
Is it because of the Kyler Murray?
Yeah. I'm pretty sure this is all about Murray.
I didn't expect that. I didn't expect it.
No, on Murray. You get him there. I'd rather have a guy who likes Gears of War than Call of Duty. All right, fair enough.
That's funny.
We need to find a way to score in the red. Yeah, we talked about that, Gil, a little bit earlier, that the red zone thing we got to get much better at. We got to get some rushing touchdowns in this, for crying out loud. But Kobe, just when I thought I liked
Cam Akers can do it.
Shout out to Joker Nation. What's going on, Joker? Thanks for joining us as well. I'm going to skip the rest of these anti-Kyler Murrays here because there's about 72 of them. Of course, Bob says get Carson Wentz, but that's a Bob thing. But in all seriousness,
is he serious? Because
well,
he's been doing that for a while now.
Yeah, him and Too Evil to Hope. That's their thing. I mean, they always.
Are they from North Dakota?
They must be. I don't know. Winston Cousins. I mean, again, don't get me wrong. I'm not really keen at all at the idea of Kyler Murray. I was just saying that to me, okay, if it's between these two,
it looked
guys,
like you were trying to figure out how to make it happen financially.
No, I was just pointing out that just say, hey, his cap hits are this, and this. Well, no, this is what they would be if he was traded. But I digress. No, Kirk bailed out. Yeah, well, we have Lamont. Shout out Lamont in the building though. We did absolutely give him credit early on in the show, and in fact that was the first 15 minutes or so. But no, I mean that's what's funny, and that's what Rap said is like, wait a second, the day after Kirk has argued,
we're picking today to talk about trade for Kyler
really?
Murray.
I'm like, hold on a second, this is the day we're gonna do that. I don't know. Scoldger Soup in the building. What's going on, Soup? Thanks for joining us. Thank you, Dayon. Thanks again for joining. We appreciate you so much. Why can't we draft a quarterback to get over? Well, there's something to be said to that, Gil. You are correct. All righty. I think I'm almost caught up on chats, but hold on. Let's see what Grandizer heck. Yes, absolutely. Absolutely. I mean, that's what we're going to wrap. That's what we're going to wrap the show. Thanks, Rap. Speaking of that, we appreciate you. No way Broncos give us their team for anything less than a first round. Probably not. Probably not.
But I think that's our weakness right now is a shutdown corner and a nose tackle.
No, I like I said, the other day,
we're still on trade.
Asked me that last week, or maybe it was a week and a half ago. I don't remember which show I was doing that he asked me that. And I said, I'd love to have the guy because he's still got, if I recall correctly, he's still got another year left on his rookie contract. So from a salary cap standpoint for Surtain, yeah, I mean, he's making $940,000 this year and 1.05 million next year. Now, obviously, you then get into, are you going to extend him and how much money you're going to get? But if you're looking to make an all-in move for this year and worry about the rest later, yeah, that would be absolutely a candidate. Shout out.
It's one of those things. If maybe we're 5-2 right now, yeah.
Well, let's go ahead and move on to the Packers theme here, and then we'll just get up out of here because we've been on for over an hour here. And thank you to our guests. We weren't sure if we were going to get one. Next thing you know, we got two, but that's all right. That is all right. Yeah, there should be no discussion other than at least a 14-point victory against the Green Bay Packers. They're absolutely terrible. Jordan Love is as mediocre as it gets. The Packers fan base, whether it's the media or their actual fans, have no idea what to do now that they don't have a Favre or a Rodgers. And they're just like, I can't believe this team is this, and fire the coach and fire the GM. It's like, what did you expect was going to happen when you get rid of a Hall of Fame quarterback? You got lucky that the first time you got a Hall of Fame quarterback, you got into a second one. Lightning rarely strikes twice in the same place. It's for dang sure doesn't strike in the same place 3 times, unless you're watching the Back to the Future trilogy where you see the lightning strike. No, to me, it's you better beat this team and you better beat the doors off of these guys. I know, Gary. Yeah, I don't see plus 14. I don't either. I'm saying that.
Well,
that's what it should be. And that's what I'm going to give you confidence to say, okay, we didn't just get lucky on Monday Night Football beating a good team. You've got to sustain this. You've got to keep the momentum going. Shout out to Evil for the $2 super chat. No, we are not talking about Kirk Cousins cap hit. Go ahead, Dave.
Oh yeah,
that's chance.
That's another story.
Yeah, no.
Yeah, Patrick Surtain. Yeah, he has one more year. Did they not extend his? Did they not pick up his 5th-year option? He was a first round 9th overall, wasn't he?
Hold on, let me take a look.
Yeah, he was first round 9th overall.
Well, again, the 5th-year option doesn't show up on over the cap until
probably next year. Yeah,
until next year. Yes.
So he would probably be looking at like mid-50, like 10. I don't know, what would it be? It would be over 10 million a year.
Oh, it'd be close to 15, as my guess.
Yeah, it'd be well over 10.
Because he was a number 9 pick. And
yeah,
so JJ was JJ
what? Talking about he would have been 19. Like JJ would have been like 19 or something like that.
Yeah, JJ was 19. So but again, I don't know if that's by position or if it's by where you're drafted.
It'd have to be a little bit of both, probably. I don't know. It'd be definitely first. Well, because 5th year option.
Shout out, Darian. Here we go, Minnesota.
I think it's by position. Honestly, I think it's by position. I don't
Okay.
think it's by position in the draft. But yeah, we're talking about the Packers. So we said the same thing about the Bears. We need to blow these guys by 2 touchdowns, and we follow that up by beating the better, what we thought was the best team in the league going into the Cleveland game, right? So it's like, here we got these world beaters. We barely beat the Bears, and then we go and beat these guys. And yet you make the point, well, how much of it is, are we lucky? I don't think we were. I don't know if I saw a take like that. We just had balls bounce our way. We also had them bounce the other way too.
Mm-hmm.
We had a pick that was taken out of guys' hands, and then we got a touchdown taken out of the defender's hands. So it's almost like shit. We almost evened it out.
Right.
But then the 2 picks by Cam, those were great defensive. We flushed him out of the pocket. He had to get rid of the ball. Then there was the sack that he goes and almost gets a fumble instead. Like, we had him running for a few situations. So I felt like we had a good game plan coming in. I think the offensive game plan was better than ever. The thing he said before he was before he coached his first game, that we were going to put our foot on the gas and keep it pressed down. It hasn't been that. And that was like the first game that I felt like we did, like the whole game, have our foot on the gas. I don't remember a game. Maybe it was the Packers game like that. I don't remember. I know we went out to a lead. Game,
we got out to a lead and we just kind of sat on it. We were
right.
Up 17-0 at half or 20-0 at half. And
even though we scored 6 points, I felt like we put our foot on the gas the whole time.
Well, yeah, that gets back to what I was saying earlier. They controlled the clock. They had long. Again, to Sarah's point,
we were last in the league in time of possession.
Right. They weren't yesterday. And that was another point that was made. I forget which chatter put that in earlier, but time of possession was absolutely in the Vikings' favor yesterday. Let me look that up as long as we're talking about it here. But yeah, that's where I'm going with it. And, sometimes it is about, how many points you score, but also it's about, hey, keeping the ball away from the other team, keeping their opportunities to get back into the game to a minimum. We didn't punt. We only punted once yesterday, and it was in the fourth quarter.
The guy did not have a touchback all last year, and then all he does is kick touchbacks this year.
Yeah, well.
What's with our kicking game? I don't know. It's like year to year.
Game to game. Special teams is just one of those things with the Vikings, whether it's kickers or whether it's punters or long snappers. It doesn't really matter all that much. Okay, time of possession yesterday was 35-25 to the Vikings. So I think I don't even remember the last time we had I don't even remember the last time we've had a time of possession.
Even like in Carolina, we lost the time of possession, right?
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, we need to make. I feel like the Packers game. I think we moved a step forward. We put a Cam Akers out there for like an entire drive.
I'll say this, and this is a good point by Sarah. The Packers. You remember how we were talking about how the Vikings hadn't scored in the first quarter, and then we hadn't scored a touchdown in the first quarter.
We've done it 3 games in a row now.
The Packers are even worse than us, and I didn't think that was possible. So that, to Sarah's point, and the point we've been making here, you get out early on these guys, and then you just do exactly what you did to San Francisco. Go on long, sustaining drives. Don't let them have an opportunity to get back in the game. I mean, again, they were down 17-0 to the Saints going into the fourth quarter and squeaked out an 18-17 victory. So you have every opportunity to get up early on these guys and to send some of their fans home by the middle of the fourth quarter. If you play like you did last night against these guys, yeah, they got nothing for us. They really don't. Right off the bat, Kofi's got 28-10. So there you go. There's our first prediction. Jordan Love seems kind of bad. Yeah.
I would have to look at the, I want to see Jalen Naylor come out. They have a breakout game against the Packers. I think he was a healthy scratch, honestly, because he's in that 3-week transition period where you can bring the guy back. And I'm just thinking he's a healthy scratch right now, but I think he's going to be playing against the Packers. That just gives us one more guy. He's a better receiver than Powell. And he's fast.
Looked good yesterday.
He did, but he didn't look good the week before. So he did step up, and I gave him his props. He was one of the guys I called out on my show this morning or this afternoon. So yeah, Powell stepped up. Awesome. And I made this comment that I thought Reagor was a better receiver, but Powell showed me he could do what Reagor could do. And then some, honestly, because he did have that freaking shoestring catch. And I think Reagor probably a little bit better on a jet sweep, but Powell, he's not as Rager's a lot shiftier than Powell is, I think. He's got more straight line speed, but as far as receiver goes, I mean, I don't know if Powell has the greatest hands in the world, but he did well. He did well. He stepped up. He was a guy when Addison went down. He now had Powell. Where did KJ go? I don't know. But KJ didn't have a bad game. But it's like, how are these guys outshining KJ? And you kind of wonder.
Well,
so
KJ
I think Naylor is going to be, I think, our 3 for the future. And I want to see him play now. I want his opportunity. He's got a 2-week window of Justin Jefferson being out to where he can get some playing time.
I would not be disappointed if they traded KJ at this point. I don't think they will. But
he can't because of the injuries, right?
Sure. Why not? Why? It's 1 week, maybe 2.
Well, you got a long season. That's the reason.
Well, I get that.
And are you going to do them like that? It's like,
Name on the front of the jersey is more important than the one on the back, as the great late.
What we have seen is this coaching staff has a lot of loyalty to players, and so much so that they play a guy even though there's a better guy on the bench. It's just insane.
Well,
I'm just going off what I'm not disagreeing with you. Is that that would be probably a smart move to give these guys a chance, but they are not risky guys. These coaches are not risky people.
No, they're not. And no, too evil. I'm totally out on Derrick Henry. Even if he was like dirt cheap, I wouldn't. No, at this particular point. Also, the Titans are saying, "You think we can steal some D line?" I'd love to see that far more than trying to bring Derrick Henry.
It would be nice if we got somebody cheap, or if we just the Akeem Hicks. He hasn't signed with anybody yet, right?
No, I'm kind of out on.
Are you?
I'm out on Hicks and
Dominican
Sue, and yeah, I don't know.
I think the people talking about our defense being just terrible run defense. We're like middle of the road.
Yeah,
it's just game plan from week to week.
I see what you're saying. I'm not disagreeing.
I mean, Cheese had less than 40 yards and carrying 60 yards, and Pacheco's a pretty damn good running back.
Young Cringe, I don't think the Rams would go for that. And we don't have the salary cap space, while it would be extremely awesome. And I would then say that puts us into much more than just winning the division contention. I would even say that would put us in contention for the company.
If we got a game changer like
just
that,
not gonna happen.
If we got a game changer like that, hey, but Jacqueline Roy, now I can't even say
Jaquelin. Yeah,
Jaquelin Roy showed me something when he got a chance to play about 2 weeks ago. I think it was against the Chiefs.
Yep.
He showed me something that I did not know he had. He had a fucking good punch swim move that would look really nice, and I did not know if he had a pass rush in him, but he looks like he does. And I'm going to go back and look at the tape, hopefully before tomorrow's show. But I really want to see him and Tonga. But, we didn't talk about Luigi Villain. Luigi Villain got snatched off of. Andre Carter better be worth it, man. Andre Carter better be freaking worth it.
Well, again, when another team, signs one of your guys, there's not much you can do about it. Although I thought he was elevated, but regardless,
I thought he was too,
because I thought he was elevated to the active roster for yesterday's game. Yeah, shout out to Caesar in the building. If the Vikings lose well, I'll say this, Caesar, it would be so Vikings to beat the 49ers and then lose to the Packers the very next week, but I just can't see this team losing to Green Bay, so I can't entertain the thought process. If it happens, then next Monday on Skull for Days, I'll be entertaining the process because we'll have one more day before the trade deadline.
So they did a nice little exercise, and we should probably we'll do it next week. predicting the rest of the season, and like
Oh,
the
sure, yeah.
Purple Daily, Declan
Yeah.
had us losing to the Packers, going 10-7 and winning the division.
Well, there's something to be said because there's over the last 5 or 6 years, teams that just played the 49ers have a massively low winning percentage the next week because they're coming off of playing a very physical team like the 49ers. And in the Vikings case, they played them on Monday night, so they got one less day of rest. So there is a logic there. Now, I
He had
will
us
say,
beating the Lions twice. I said this
Yeah.
in my video is like because, or I did a tweet where I said that now that the Lions have lost and we're 2 games behind, the Vikings actually can control our own destiny to win the division right now, which is crazy. Yeah, we
say
do.
that again.
The Vikings control our own destiny to win the division right now.
What if they win out? Well, yeah, if they win out.
No, if we win that, we have the same. If we beat the Lions twice and have the same record at the end of the season, we control our destiny. Yes, because tiebreakers head to head. First tiebreakers head to head.
Oh, right. So you're saying we're 2 games
If
behind
we
them
beat them
now.
twice, have the same record, we have
And have the same record. Okay, yeah.
So
all right.
so right now we're 2 games back. So
Mhm.
if we win, if those 2 games are against them, like we had the same record up until those 2 games, we beat them twice, we win the division. So it's nice. We went from holy shit, because for me, I said it was a must-win game to win the division on the 3rd game of the season. I thought it was a must-win. When we lost, I was like, I'm not even thinking about the division now. But then with the Lions losing the way they did and us beating San Fran, I'm like, and now we're only 2 games back from them, and we play them twice, and it's a long ways to week 16 and 18, right? So we could steadily get better. They could steadily, they've come down to earth.
Well,
already.
let me address that though. You had said, and you're right, that the Vikings have not gotten blown out this year. And we're quoting the Lions getting blown out yesterday. But I will also say that the Lions have also, won a bunch of games by more than one possession. They beat the Falcons by 14, the Packers by 14. They beat the Panthers by 18. They beat the Buccaneers by 14. So the other side of that coin, fits as well. Whereas, like, yes, the Lions got mollywopped on Sunday, but the Lions have also been beating teams a little bit more than we have there too. So I get what you're saying, though. I guess all I'm saying.
Throw in our turnovers. That is the best. That is the differential right there. And yeah, those happen.
We've been turning,
but they won't.
Right?
Yeah, those happen. It is a real thing. But I'm talking about the future, right? I'm talking about getting better, and that's a long ways to go. Where we get healthy. Justin Jefferson, we get better, and they've came down to earth a little bit. Losing that bad.
Here's what I'm saying though. We looked at our schedule and we said, "Hey,
we're not disagreeing. We're on the same path. It's just we both agree that hey, they looked good. We didn't. Now moving forward, hopefully this is the path. I'm not saying it's a guaranteed path.
Well, here's
that's
where
the
I'll
opportunity we have.
Here's what I'm saying. We talked about our schedule in the next 6 games up until the bye week +1 with the Raiders after that, before we get Cincinnati, and then the 2-step of Detroit, Green Bay, Detroit again. But here's the Lions schedule. They got the Raiders next week. Then they've got the Chargers. Then they go Bears, Packers, Saints, Bears, Broncos. They've got the same easier schedule that we do. So the reason I said, what if we win out? Did you mean that? But I get what you're saying. I'm just saying that the Lions got a pretty easy schedule too. They just faced their toughest opponent for the rest of the season up to the New Year's Eve game against the Dallas Cowboys. That is the only game on their schedule, besides taking out the 2 of the Vikings, of course. But outside of the 2 games against the Vikings and the game against the Cowboys, they've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. They've got 7 games where they could conceivably go 6-1 as well. So, but you're right. At this particular point, we do
the same thing as them.
Yeah.
We keep pace with them with 2 games to go. We have our we control our destiny.
That to
they do too.
Yeah.
We both control our destiny.
Right.
But if it was if we were 3 games back, we would not be controlling our destiny. We would have to require them to lose another game.
Right. let's see. Addison won that game. Well, I mean,
No,
there
not
was
100%.
two times that happened. He got
We're
one,
still up
and the other
at
guy
that
got
point.
one.
We're still up at that point.
True, but
Yeah,
to your point, we only scored 6 points. Now, granted, we should have scored, maybe 9. We should have had maybe one
KOC, what
over.
KOC didn't go for it on 4th down. I'm like, well, he stopped going. If we get in their territory, 3rd and short, he's going for it usually, right?
Mhm.
He didn't. He kicked a field goal instead.
You talking about
he did that twice.
You talking about the last one, or?
I think he did it twice, if I'm not mistaken, and kicked field goals instead of going for it.
Well, I think one of the
even
field
on the
goals-
goal line, he
I thought about
he
that.
would have went for it. You thought he would have went for it, but he didn't.
Well, I think part of the reason he didn't is because we started off 1st and goal at the 1, and we were at the 5-yard line by the time 4th down.
Oh, and we
came
got
around.
down. It was 4th and 2, right?
Mhm.
4th and goal at the 2. But those were things he goes for it, right? He in the like if we were behind, and well, anyways, there's no way of saying 100% because they don't score. We're still ahead. We come out. We still, we settle for field goals instead of going for it. And we're still throwing the ball. I don't see us saying I don't say we lose 100% for sure. No,
I wouldn't say
we're
100%.
still ahead.
Right, not 100%, but
That was
it was the turning point in the
Hail
game.
Mary. That was as good
turning-
as a Hail Mary.
Yeah. Well, that's the interesting thing about it. They get the ball back with 1:01 on the clock and 1 timeout, and then their first 2 plays drains 30 seconds and the timeout. It's like, are you serious? And Brian Baldinger actually had he does those film reviews they're on Twitter or whatever else. And Brian Baldinger was like, what the heck were the 49ers thinking by playing this kind of defense and running a blitz and having no safety in the middle of the field?
Yeah, someone asked Kirk on the press conference, says, are you used to getting a 0 blitz in that situation? He says, yeah, there was a couple times that's happened already. I'm like, it's crazy. It's crazy because if you tackle the guy in bounds, it's over.
Yes. It's kind of like the miracle. All they needed to do was tackle Diggs
the guy
in
bounds. It's over.
Yes,
and,
exactly.
And no, I think that was a play. He said, I don't know if it was Bosa, but it was in his face,
right?
And he just got rid of the ball early. He didn't lead him. And
I mean, if he leads them more to the post,
that was one of the 2 bad throws I talked about. Him and Addison, and then that throw. But Addison rips the ball out of the guy's hands and scores a TD. And that fucking happens every once in a while,
Yeah. I mean, at the end of the day, there's not
why
much
the ball's not round.
There's not much to nitpick. There's those 2 passes where our guy won 1 and their guy won 1, and then there was the pass in the end zone. I mean, other than that, I mean, you can't really say anything else about his game yesterday. And for the most part, the entire offense. I mean, I'm a little irritated with Alexander Madison. He had a couple of nice runs, but the rest of them
sitting down in the zone kind of bugs me.
Yeah,
it's a zone, man. You're an NFL player.
Yeah. I mean, he comes across as the kind of guy that he's a good number 2. He's a good change of pace, and making him the number 1. As I said, I can't remember who was with you or was on my own. He ran
hard. I mean, he ran.
Yeah.
Hard.
Oh, absolutely. I'm just saying that, when take KJ Osborne as an example, he's been the number 3 guy for the last couple of years. Oh, well, KJ Osborne, he can be the number 2 guy. No, KJ Osborne's a 3.
Oh, yeah, definitely. I don't think we ever thought number 2. He 2 years ago, he showed me that he wasn't a number 2.
Right. So I'm just saying it's the same thing to Alexander. I mean, again, it's nothing personal.
We got a 1A, 1B situation, man.
Yes. Well, I will say this.
It's as close to I made the comp of him being Diggs. I made that comp.
Yeah.
It could come to
one of the commenters had that thought in there earlier, and I don't see it anymore. But I will say this: when Justin Jefferson gets back, he and Jordan Addison need to be the top 2 wide receivers. Period. End of discussion. I don't want to hear about KJ's got seniority or. I mean, the only thing that KJ has on Addison is blocking. That's it. And so, yes, you're going to be running a lot of 3 wide receiver sets anyway. And yes, if you're going to throw a wide receiver screen to Justin Jefferson,
one of the worst rushing teams in the league. I mean, what good is a receiver we know it's not necessarily because of the blocking.
No,
You know,
I'm saying the time where we have run the wide receiver screen to Justin Jefferson and KJ's out there, he's at least letting Justin Jefferson catch the ball and trying to move forward. The 2 times we have tried to run that same play with Jordan Addison out there, JJ's gotten lit
just
up.
don't run that play with Jordan Addison out there, but don't be predictable. It's it's a catch-22.
Right. So, but by and large, I'm saying 2 wide receiver sets needs to be those 2 guys. Period.
Oh, I made this point a while back with I forget who it was, but I was like, when you have 2 wide receiver sets and you're worried about the blocking of those receivers more than the fact that you have 2 deep threats out there, which you're more afraid of? You're more afraid of Justin Jefferson and Addison out there, or more afraid of Justin Jefferson and KJ Osborne out there?
Right.
They're not going to be putting 9, 8, 9 in the box with freaking Jordan Addison out there. They're not going to do it. They're not wanting to. They're going to want to have someone over the top of both those freaking receivers.
Right.
That they would probably, if they did go one high safety, they're going to shade it over to Justin and just let KJ do whatever. They're not going to do that with both Justin and Jefferson and Addison out there, and that helps your running game right there.
Yeah.
So,
no, I don't disagree. I'm just saying that at this point, when Justin Jefferson gets back, KJ's got to go down to 3. Period. And if you want to rotate him and Powell or him,
and he's
Powell
our future.
Yeah,
KJ isn't.
Shout out Skull for Life, Barber. Hey, as long as you get here, it's all good, brother. It's all good. Let's hit the reset button because I think we're going to get up out of here anyway. If you didn't hit the like buttons on your way in, hit those on your way out, and then hit it on the other channel that you're not watching it at. And if you're not subscribed to both Purple and Gold for Days and Minnesota Sports Talk, hit those subscribe buttons if you could, please. And if you don't already subscribe on your favorite iTunes or Spotify podcast aggregators for Vikings First and Skull, hit up that as well. I have a podcast that'll be dropping tomorrow morning over on that network. And I know Dave's in the building, just looking at his email, wondering where my file is for him. So I'm going to have that to him here in just a little bit. But anything else before we get up out of here, Dave, that you want to hit on?
Tomorrow we got Strictly Football Glow Deck in the house tomorrow. Fresh off trying to high five San Francisco 49er fans in the stands. I'm gonna play that video.
Oh yeah, I saw that. I'm gonna
play that video. He's gonna be on for about half an hour, 45 minutes. Nice. I think Casey's out of town, but Jamie's gonna be running the show.
No,
so tomorrow there's no Skull Live tonight. That's why Rap showed up on our under the lights. So I forgot to tell you guys that. But
hence why we've gone for an hour and a half and haven't been trying to rush out of here. Yes.
Yeah, and then I do the drive every Monday at 5:00 Central. I wanted to do more, but I haven't. I definitely do that show every Monday now. Probably gonna do post game after the Packers game. I think you probably do that too. But I'll try to put that panel together like I did a few times. So there's a lot of things going. Even though I'm demonetized, I'm still grinding. Notice the overlay. I actually lost her overlay and had to recreate it, and I added a little more flair to it. You like it, don't you? It's pretty nice.
Now, 15 pieces of flair is the minimum. Now, if you want to,
this is some flair. Yeah, I fucking love this. This is awesome.
Hold on just a second.
Man, I'm overlaying the crap out of all of my videos.
Yeah. No, they won't be that bad, Caesar, but you've got a point. And I said that going into the season. I want the Packers to be around 6.
There was someone was funny that Caleb's trying to pre-tank so he doesn't go to the Bears.
Yeah.
Bears are the.
That's the funny thing about this league. It's should you tank or should you not? And then you got college guys saying, should I tank or should I not? Or
college guys trying to play bad so they don't get picked up by good team or bad teams.
It's rather ridiculous. But all righty, so tune in tomorrow night for the Skull Experience. Tune in to me on Thursday night for Thursday's Talkers. Tune into me Sunday morning around 11:05 Central Time for the Purple and Gold pregame show. Tune in to Minnesota Sports Talk after the game. Do you have a name for your post-game show or no?
It would be called the Packers versus or Vikings versus Packers post game show.
All right, there you go. And then also Rap and I on Rapping for Days at 8 o'clock Central Time Sunday night. I don't remember which channel it's going to be on.
If I'm not mistaken.
I don't remember what channel we're on. So be subscribed to both of them and hit the notification bell so that you get that out there. Well, do want to thank everybody one last time for joining us here tonight. It is great to be able to do these shows this week, coming off of a victory as we start into Packers week. And there is nothing greater than Packers week. Well,
and I don't think I was too bad. Justin predicted I was going to dance around like a peacock. I don't think.
Well, you did a little. I was the only one who said we were going to beat San Francisco.
I didn't say I was the only one. I just said
only one of our group.
Yes. Prior to the season, I picked San Francisco. I didn't say I was the only one.
You're the only one who's mentioned it, but I digress. Anyhow, thank you kindly, everybody, for joining us this evening. We very much appreciate your support. Regardless of who made what predictions, we all just want to see the Vikings win a Super Bowl, particularly at least once before we die. And how we get there doesn't matter.
Before my mom dies. Please.
Well, it's the collective we. It's all of us. It's not just me saying it.
I'm doing wellness checks every freaking day before with that woman.
We'll just leave it with these two. Caesar, thanks, guys. Skull, beat the cheese. You are correct. Let's beat the cheese curds out of the pack. You are absolutely correct. Thank you kindly, everybody, for joining us. As always, Skull to the next episode, and you all have a great rest of your evening.